tributes continued to pour in after the passing of former Minister Pravin Gordhan. And for more tributes, we are joined via Zoom now by the South African Revenue Services Commissioner Edward Kieswetter. Mr. Kieswetter, good morning and thank you so much for your time.
Good morning, Skinner.
Firstly, Mr. Kieswetter, how did you first meet Mr. Gordhan, and how would you say that relationship evolved over time?
Well, let me first just convey my personal, but also on behalf of the South African Revenue Service, our deepest condolences at this sad and sudden passing of our colleague and friend, Pravin Gordhan. His wife and daughters, we hold them dearly in our heart. Of course, I had been aware of Pravin before I met him, but we finally met him in 2004 when he interviewed and invited me to join as the founding group executive to establish the large business center at SARS. We then began to work together, and I must say it was an incredible experience. He was a hard taskmaster, set exceptionally high standards, but always driven by a sense of higher purpose and understanding the transformational impact we have through the work of SARS on the lives of people. That really laid the foundation for what we today experience as a smart, modern tax and customs administration. I have over the years built a collegial relationship with him. We have worked well together, and after he left the South African Revenue Service, I was then Deputy Commissioner. We continued to have common interests as activists in public service, but also later worked with him as just to work and help in other relationships, and most recently with the Eskom and energy crisis that we've experienced.
And over those years, Mr. Kieswetter, is there any moment that stands out for you, either through his work, his activism, or on a personal note that will stand with you or stay with you for time to come?
Oh, very, very, very many of those. But one of the things that I've always held dear was his resilience and commitment, unwavering commitment, once he has set a goal for himself. On a lighter note, one year we faced a potential qualified audit finding, and Pravin literally made us count every chair, every computer, every desk, every cell phone, until we could reconcile our fixed asset register. We had everyone in SARS around the country committed to that single task because he would not accept that SARS would have a qualified report. And then, of course, from a leadership perspective, always continually set the highest standards and never would ask us to hold to that standard that he was not himself prepared to live up to.
And just in keeping with that, what are the qualities that you would say are the ones that made him stand out as a great leader?
I think what drew him to the public service in the first place was his sense of justice, and therefore committing his life to the struggle to free us from the grips of oppression, and that would usher in our democracy. So a sense of justice which was absolutely unequivocal. Secondly, a commitment to excellence by providing leadership that set a clear example and managed those expectations in a way that inspired us, but also made sure that we were accountable. I remember the midnights that we would spend preparing to go and present ourselves to Parliament. He's always made this statement: we must make it easy for those who must hold us accountable to do so in the manner that we report our work to them. And those are invaluable lessons which still guides us. And today, sitting in the privileged role that he once occupied, I'm on many days reflect the lessons and experiences that we've shared.
And just finally, Mr. Kieswetter, what would you say can be done by those who loved and cared about Pravin Gordhan to continue to honour his legacy?
I think that the best way to honour his legacy would be, and this is a message not just to those who occupy leadership roles, but to every citizen. We sometimes think that we are too small, too insignificant to make a change. But the lesson from Pravin Gordhan, as many others before him, is that become an activist for the change you wish to see. Don't sit on the sideline and complain and moan about it, but stand up, start where you are, and do what you can. And it is our collective effort of 60 million South Africans that will finally deliver the promise of our Constitution to heal the divisions and the injustice of the past, and to ensure that every South African can experience a life that allows them to live up to the full potential. That's an important lesson from Pravin's life, and the best way we could honour him.
Well, Mr. Edward Kieswetter, thank you so much for your time. SARS Commissioner Edward Kieswetter with his tribute and remembering Pravin Gordhan, a former minister and also former SARS Commissioner.